Welcome to Saturday morning meditation. So the first thing that we do whenever we sit down to meditate is establish our intention for our practice. So whatever kind of morning you've had, or whatever kind of week you've had, we can just leave that at the door and come into our bodies here on our cushions or in our chairs. And we'll take a moment to generate compassion for all sentient beings and make the wish that our practice today will benefit them. And then we'll say the 7-line prayer 3 times. Organ yogi num jansam, pemage sardompola, yatsen chogi ngorubne, pemajong ne jesurak. Kordu khandro mangpokor, Ketki Jesu dak drupki, Jinji lop chia shek su so, Guru Pama Siddhi Hum. Organ Yugi Num Jansam, Pemage Sardompola, Yatsen Chogi Ngorupne, Pema Jone Jesurak, Kordu Kandro Mangpokor, Ketki Jesu Dak Druki, Jinji Lop Chia Sheksu So, Guru Pama Siddhi Hum. Organ Yugi Num Jansam, Pemage Sardompola, Yatsen Chogi Ngorupne, Pema Jone Jesurak, Kordu Kandro Mangpokor, Ketki Jesu Dak Drupki, Jinji Lop Chia Sheksu So, Guru Pama Siddhi Hum. So the meditation that we'll be doing today is called Shamatha meditation, or calm abiding meditation. And most of the instruction for the class comes from Jetsama's book, Stabilizing the Mind. And Jetsama has taught that this meditation trains our mind to be calm and relaxed while also being alert and wakeful. There are many different ways to meditate in the world and also within the Buddhist tradition. And it's important to know that they have different purposes. And not all types of meditation are the same. And this meditation creates space in the mind. Normally, our minds don't have a lot of space in them, and we're just full of neuroses and running around with our minds, running the show instead of, our thoughts and emotions are kind of like running the show. We don't have a lot of control over our mind. So that's our usual state of mind, but it's not the natural state of mind. Our natural state of mind is actually relaxed, stable, and open. We don't have a lot of experience of that state of mind because it's not our habit to be in that state of mind, in that relaxed, stable, open mind. So when we do this meditation, it creates space in the mind. And this space in the mind helps us to balance our emotions It gives us some breathing room. So whatever's going on in our life, whatever is upsetting is happening to us, we can respond to it instead of react to it. We have a little bit more spaciousness. And it's also the first step in the development of bodhicitta, which is the compassionate wish to free all sentient beings from suffering. In doing this meditation, it stabilizes the mind. So our mind is not so all over the place and just in reactive and everything. So, so this stability of mind is so important for any of the spiritual practices that we do. You need to have a stable foundation in which to develop any kind of qualities that have lasting power. Like it's maybe I think all of us have some patience and some generosity and some compassion, maybe some wisdom, but it's like, boop, there it was, and there it's gone. It's just like, it's like a blinking light. It's not stable. Sometimes we feel like helping others and sometimes we don't. But that's not how the Buddhas are. The Buddhas aren't like, not into it today. They're very stably, they're stable in their compassion and their wisdom and their accomplishment of that. So this practice stabilizes our mind so that we can create stable qualities, these stable qualities of compassion and wisdom and generosity and patience. So creating the space in the mind helps to stabilize it. So we can take a comfortable seat. If you're watching online, you can do this meditation sitting on a cushion on the floor or sitting in a chair. Just place your hands in your lap, gently relaxed. Traditionally, we hold one hand in the other with the thumbs touching, and place your hands with the thumbs just below your navel. You can also just rest your hands on your thighs, though. And then check in with your posture. Make sure your spine is straight. If you're used to being on your phone all the time, it might feel weird to have a straight spine. So you can imagine a thread going up your spine and out the crown of your head, and just tug on that thread to pull your spine nice and straight. Your shoulders are back somewhat, kind of open and back. Your elbows are out a bit. So your rib cage is open. We have a lot of room around our rib cage for us to breathe. Your eyes will remain open, looking downwards. You can imagine a line following the bridge of your nose and extending down to the floor. Just find a point along that line where it's comfortable to rest your gaze. And then lastly, place the tip of your tongue right behind your front teeth. It's like saying the letter L. Allow yourself to relax completely and breathe normally. If you feel like your breath is constricted, just let out all of your air. Take a really big out breath. And then naturally, it kind of resets your breathing. So don't try to control it at all. Just settle into your natural breathing rhythm. And then we'll place the most gossamer thin attention on our breath. It's like taking your pulse. You don't put any pressure on it or try to change it in any way. Just observe it. Your attention is like a feather, gently riding on the surface of your breath. And when thoughts come up, which they are bound to do, just let them go like bubbles popping on the surface of a pond. Don't even look to see what they are. Just let them pop. Your meditation is not lost by hearing your thoughts, but by following them down the road. So as soon as you notice yourself following a thought, just drop it and come back to your breath. And if it's really difficult for you to dismiss your thoughts, you can imagine picking them up with tongs and throwing them away, or cutting them with scissors and throwing them away. You always return to your single pointed concentration. You just return again and again to that gossamer thin attention on your breath. It's our first round of meditation. I'll do a few rounds. So when you're meditating, if you're finding it difficult to meditate or you're finding it difficult to focus, it's important not to make up stories about that or judge yourself too harshly for that. There are so many factors that affect the way that our meditation goes on any particular day, whether we've eaten a big breakfast or not eaten enough or not had enough sleep or had a stressful week or have a health issue or whatever. So it's important not to judge yourself too much if you're or at all. Don't judge yourself if you're feeling like you can't stay on your breath. It's normal. It's not our habit to keep the mind in one place and to rest the mind. Our habit is to have very busy minds that chase after everything. And so we chase after our thoughts, we chase after our emotions, anything we're perceiving through our senses, we chase them just all the time. So it's not our habit to let the mind rest and be still in a place of non-judgment. That's not our habit, so it's hard. The other, so still coming back, but I recently bought a basketball because I used to like playing basketball when I was a kid, and I haven't played it in a while. So I got a basketball, and went with my family to a basketball court and was just practicing throwing hoops recently. And we were really bad at it because we haven't done that in a very long time, and kept missing the hoop. And my toddler just goes running after the ball and just tries to throw the ball in the woods, and then we go and chase the ball back, and we get it. We try it again. So I'm feeling kind of embarrassed because I keep missing the hoop. And I look over and there's this other guy playing on the same court, and he also was missing every one of his shots. And so it's like, and he just kept going, he just kept doing it too. So I was like, okay, so this is just what we do here is you just come here to the court and you just throw the basketball and you just miss and miss and miss and miss and miss, and you just keep doing it for however long you're going to try. And then that's it. And it feels good if you make a shot. It feels really good, but like then you probably miss the next 10, until you develop a habit of doing that. So it's the same with meditation. We're just going to sit here and we're going to miss the breath. We're going to miss it. 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 And then you'd be like, oh, right, I'm watching the breath. And then that'll go. And then you'll miss it the next 10 breaths. You'll forget where you are. And then you come back to it. But you just keep trying. This is what we do when we meditate. We just try. You just try to come back to the breath again and again. And whether you did a good job or not, you pack it up and you try it again the next day. So it's why we call it practice. So we'll sit for a little longer. Sit for a little longer now. So we'll come back to our meditation posture. Have a straight back, relaxed body. Just relax into your natural rhythm of breathing. It's like taking your pulse. Don't put any pressure on the breath. Just observe it. Your attention is like a feather, gently riding on the surface of your breath. So sometimes when we sit and meditate for longer periods of time, we might notice also that we're feeling sleepy or we're got too much going on in our heads or whatever. So one thing you can do if you're feeling sleepy is you can raise your gaze a little bit. So the point at which we're resting our eyes. If you're feeling sleepy, you can just raise that point a little bit so your eyes are more open, lets more light into your eyes and kind of helps you wake up. And then the converse, if you're feeling just like way too much mental activity going on in your head, you can lower your gaze a little bit to kind of quiet that down a bit. So that's we can use these elements of our posture to support our practice. So I had a quote I just wanted to share before we go into our last session of the day. Mindraling Jetsun Khandro Rinpoche said that people consider meditation as the actual practice, and post-meditation as something that's just going back to their normal lives. Whereas the actual interpretation is that meditation is just a preliminary to the mindfulness that has to be practiced. The actual meditation begins when you get off the cushion. Dr. Khyentse Rinpoche gave a really good example of a way to bring that kind of mindfulness practice into our life and kind of practice, do these mind stabilizing practices in a way that just fits in with your life. It's like, for instance, if you're drinking coffee in the morning, when you're drinking your coffee, put your mind on your coffee. Just have your mind be about your coffee. You're just in the experience of drinking your coffee. Oh, I've got to fix my car. I've got to take my car to the shop. No, coffee. Drinking coffee. What does the coffee taste like? And you just bring it back to that. Oh my God, I'm going to be running late. Coffee. I didn't get enough sleep, so coffee. Just come back to that coffee. So, tea drinkers, you can do the same thing. But that's just we can do this in our daily life and find opportunities to, maybe replace a moment where our habit would be to just scatter ourselves and instead take that moment to center and stabilize ourselves and just bring our mind back to what we're doing. So, all right, so let's do one last round of meditation. We'll meditate for 3 minutes and then we'll say the dedication prayers. So back to our meditation posture. Straight back, relaxed body. And put the most gossamer thin attention on your breath. Not putting any pressure on it, just observing it. Your attention is like a feather, gently riding on the surface of your breath. Okay, so now we'll say the dedication prayers. Throughout my many lives and until this moment, whatever virtue I have accomplished, including the merit generated by this practice, and all that I will ever attain, this I offer for the welfare of sentient beings. May sickness, war, famine, and suffering be decreased for every being, while their wisdom and compassion increase in this and every future life. May I clearly perceive all experiences to be as insubstantial as the dream fabric of the night, and instantly awaken to perceive the pure wisdom display in the arising of every phenomenon. May I quickly attain enlightenment in order to work ceaselessly for the liberation of all sentient beings. Buddhas and Bodhisattvas altogether, whatever kind of motivation you have, whatever kind of beneficial action, whatever kind of wishing prayers, whatever kind of omniscience, whatever kind of life accomplishment, whatever kind of benevolent power, and whatever kind of immense wisdom you have, similarly, I, who have come in the same way to benefit beings, pray to attain these qualities. By this effort, may all sentient beings be free of suffering. May their minds be filled with the nectar of virtue. In this way, may all causes resulting in suffering be extinguished, and only the light of compassion shine throughout all realms. All right, thanks for being here today.